very... Oh, my God, my door. Anyways, this is on a very delicate surface, so don't be surprised if this falls and I can't cut it out because I don't know how to edit it yet. Well, I know how to edit, but can't edit on my phone, and we know the story. Anyways, that one blue spot where my quilt is gonna irritate me. Hold on. Okay. What was I gonna say? Okay, so today's been kind of crazy because, girl, you're dumb. Just now realized. Okay, I'll get to it. So my grandma was complaining about a headache, and she said earlier today, and it was like actually like maybe 2 or 3 hours after I took the video, and so I was in my little happy mood, blah blah blah, and then my grandma kind of freaked me out because she was like, I have this headache and I'm feeling dizzy and my vision is kind of blurred and I have a headache, but it's only in one part of my head. And I was like, holy shit, she's having a stroke. Like, oh my God, high blood pressure, heart attack. Like, oh my God. But it wasn't a heart attack. It was more like signs of a stroke. So I was freaking out. I was like freaking out, you know? And so I called my dad and I was like, Dad, like, what's going on here? Like, help. And then, so he was like, immediately, he was like, call 911. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. And then I told my grandma about it. And then my grandma, being the stubborn little old lady that she is, was like, no, I'm fine. You don't need to call 911. I'm perfectly fine. Blah, blah, blah. And she was acting like normal. So I kind of believe her. But then I called my dad and he was like, no, call 911 no matter what your grandma says. Don't even tell her. Just call 911. And so I called 911, and the lady was treating me like a little kid until I told her my age, and she's like, oh, you're 16, and then she kind of treated it like a joke, kind of, sort of, and then she was kind of like, acting like I was kind of wasting her time, which kind of annoyed me, because I was kind of freaking out, but, like, still, like, I got it, like, there are more, like, urgent situations going on, like, people, like, literally bleeding to death, so I get it, my grandma almost having a stroke, or, like, her body having, or, like, her body, like, starting with the signs of having a stroke was not a priority. So I got her, and the medic and the firefighters came, and there were like 3 of them. And let me just say, some of them were cute. I just was too freaked out to like concentrate on that until after the fact. But none of them were really my type. But I can admire physique. Okay, I can admire that. Anyways. So one of them, I think he had like all the equipment, and then one of them was the actual medic, and he was talking to my grandma, checking her blood pressure, and then the other one was like the person talking to me, trying to get her information and everything, and so it was okay. And then like my grandma, like they took her blood pressure and they were like, it's high, we should take you to an ambulance and like go to the like doctors so it'll be faster and you can immediately get it like attended to. And she was like, nope. Like she was like, nope, I'm fine, doctor, I'm fine. I know what the blood pressure rate says, but I'm fine, believe me, I know my body. That's what she kept saying, I know my body. Like, obviously you don't. Because your blood pressure says differently, but whatever, fine. And so they were like, well, we can't force you to go, even though you obviously need to go. They were basically saying that, but of course they were being polite and civil because you can't be rude to my grandma because she's like a patient or whatever. But like, I was like getting so irritated, and my dad was getting irritated too because I was talking to him about it. I was just getting annoyed. Like, come on, like you really want to stroke? Like, honestly, I think like the reason she didn't want to get help was because she like wants to die. Sounds really sad, but like I can't understand because like all of her friends are dying and she doesn't, like, she always talks about how like there's really no point and blah blah blah, and like not to the point like where my grandma's gonna commit suicide, but like I feel like anything that's like medically dangerous that like happens to her, like I feel like she's just like, I want it to be over with now, like I don't want to like be here anymore, which is kind of sad. But anyways, so they told her that they couldn't force her, so whatever, but they had her sign a piece of paper that was like basically it was like don't sue us if you, like, your family can't sue us if you die here because we came and visited you and told you that it would be wise for us to take you to an ambulance and go to the doctor, but you refused. So this is basically like you signing like that you actually did that and refused to go to the hospital. So that was the thing. And then I called my dad and was like telling him about it, and he got mad. Like, he was beyond mad. And then he was talking to my grandma, and she was like, it's my body, don't tell me what to do, I'm not a kid, don't tell me what to do, blah blah blah. She was getting so mad. And then she ended up like fighting with me, and like my dad ended up like making an appointment to the hospital at like 6:30, and he was like, you have to go, otherwise we're like, when I come, we're gonna have to go to the ER and wait hours because apparently it's really busy. And I was like, okay. And then so I was trying to explain to my grandma, like being nice about it, but then I just got frustrated because she kept getting angry with me, of all people, and I'm not telling her what to do. I'm just suggesting and telling her what my dad is telling her to do, and she's just getting mad with me, and I'm just like, don't shoot that messenger, please don't. Like, and then like she was like, fine, I guess I'll go because I don't want to wait, like make the doctor wait or whatever. And then so she got all dressed up, blah blah blah, and then she got her keys and was like, we're gonna drive then, I guess. And I was like, no, you're not driving right now. And she was like, what? You can't tell me what to do. And then she was like trying to push past me to the door because I was trying to blocking the door. And she was like, no. And I was like, no. And then like a whole lot of her trying to like take over me or whatever and push past me, but she can't because she's like my little 5-foot grandma who's very weak and like grandma-ish, and like she can't overpower me. But like I wasn't fighting her, I was just blocking her, you know, and she was trying to fight me, but like obviously like she can't. So like that happened. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about my little grandma just I was struggling so hard not to laugh and trying to be like professional or whatever, and like being like, no grandma, like no. And then finally she was like, well fine. And then she just sat on the couch and was sulking for like the 5 minutes it took, because I called an Uber. And so it took like 5 minutes for the Uber to come, and then like we waited out. I like went outside and went to look at him, and I was like, hey, yo, we're over here. And then he was like, cool. And then I was like, yeah. And then and then I was like, grandma. And then she like came hobbling down the stairs, still sulking. And then so like we went in the car, and it was really awkward, and he was like, so where are we going? And I was like, the hospital. He was like, oh my god, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just think it's like a high blood pressure problem with my grandma. And he's like, oh well, I hope you're okay. And I was like, yep. And then I didn't know what else to talk about because I didn't like know. Usually like I small talk and like casual talking, but like with my grandma there, it's kind of awkward. Also, she was in the back seat because like I literally, like when we went to the Uber, I opened the front door open for her like I always do, because she's normally like too weak to like open the door. And so I opened it up for her, and she's like, no, I want to sit in the back seat. And I was like, okay. And then she was like over there trying to get the back seat open, and I was like, grandma, like, and then I opened it up for her, and she's like, thank you. And then she got all mad. I was like, I don't understand what. And then she like sat in the car, and I was like, are you gonna buckle your seatbelt? She's like, what do you mean? That's your problem. And I was like, your seatbelt. And then she was like, and then she's like, oh. And then she was like, struggling with the seatbelt. And then so I kind of helped her with that too, and like, I don't know. She was just getting so angry with me, and I was like, and then so like I shut the door for her, blah blah blah, and then I sat in the front seat, and then the whole awkward conversation with the Uber happened, and then it was silent for most of the ride until we got to the parking lot. Which, if you know hospitals, you know the hospitals are huge parking lots, different areas, blah blah blah. And I was like, go to building D, please. And then I went to building D, and then like I was kind of like lost because like I'm a dumbass and I don't know directions, and my grandma was sitting there like tapping her foot like like we're a little critical, like I hate life right now, and I hate my granddaughter, and I hate my whole family look. And she's literally said that before so many times. Every time she gets mad, she always puts it on me. Anyways, so we were looking for building D, and then I was like, oh my god, I looked up and I saw like this bright neon sign that said D, and I was like, wow. It took me 5 minutes to figure that out. And then I was like, this looks like the front door. It wasn't the front door, it was the employee door. And I was like, oh, okay, then I'll just go over here. And like to be fair though, like the building was dark, and like building C was like brightly lit up. There were like this like long stairway, and it was like clearly the entryway. And then building D is like this little building beside it that's like the brightest part of it was like the big neon D that took me 5 minutes to figure out. So you can understand how I got so lost, because like everything was dim and like like I'm bad with directions and everything, and like so it took me like 15 minutes to figure out the like doorway, and then I was like, "Oh man, come on, grandma," and then like we're down the hallway, and I was like, "Oh my dad," and then we're like, "Hey," and then I was like, and then we just like walked together down the hallway to like the place, and then like they were like, "Dr. Kim Russell, Miss Russell," which is like my last name, and they were like, "Yep," and then like my grandma went in, and she was in there for like 20 minutes, and then she was like, "Yep, apparently my high blood pressure is really high, it's like in the hundreds or whatever," and I was like, "Oh my god." Like, I'm so happy I listened to my dad. Like, oh my god, she could have had an aneurysm. Like, I could have been there for her, like, instant painful death. Like, oh my god. And then so they gave her, like, this, like, little itty bitty pills. They were, like, literally this big. And they're pink. And, like, they're for blood pressure or something. And she's supposed to take them once a day. And I'm like, okay, cool. And, yeah, the story of my grandma almost dying, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, I was planning on talking about my bucket list too, in case the story wasn't long enough, but it's like literally like 12 minutes, so I think we're good. Plus I wrote everything on my bucket list on my phone notes, so yeah, good luck reading them, Angela. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much the adventure for today. I didn't think anything was gonna happen today that would be fun and exciting, which isn't really fun and exciting. It was just kind of like, okay, this event happened and it kind of affected my life, so like, why not share it, right? I don't know. So yeah, that's it. Bye, I guess.